I kid you not. I knew when the whole thing was going to crash in 2018 with the whole cryptocurrency by a comment that I read on World Star Hip Hop in the thread. The guy said this. Hey, man, you know, once black folks figure out about something like this, when they finally let it get to us, that means that it's over, Doc. And man, it was only 1 week and it was over. Because what he's saying is, and let me put that into normal speak, the moment everybody in this minority group figures out about it, it's already too late. It's they on to the next boom. Even this word minority is disgusting. Where does it come from? It's a reference to that in the United States, supposedly there's more Caucasians than any other race. So every other race is necessarily a minority inside of the United States. But they use this word everywhere. Minor, petty. This has no more. It doesn't even have a skin color. If you're Polish, you're a minority. You see what I mean? So it doesn't have a skin color to it. It's just saying all of the rest of the people that use what we develop. Those are the minorities. So I want you to check this out, and we're going to go into the meditation here. This meditation is about moving out of the way the blockages around what you're supposed to be doing with your abundance. Meaning every time something is happening, there's a phenomena where we're told to sit around and complain and talk about it or just buy it. Never to become the creators of it or the creators in it. And if on one turn, and hopefully that turn is the next one, happens really soon. If on one turn, we can get what's happening, and when that boom occurs again, you're actually positioned to actually have your, whatever you're developing, whatever you're doing, catch that wave. And again, it doesn't mean that you got to spend so much time trying to figure out when it's coming and which one it is. You just look at the one everybody's panicking about generally. When the crypto came, everybody was panicking because even the banks was panicking. That's another boom. It always has the same feel to it. Cryptocurrency or coronavirus, everybody's panicking. It's that same boom. But it always comes stronger. It tries to distract people more and more off of the obvious. And then changes are made. So this channel, I'm going to send a link for it in the chat here. Maybe someone will share it also with the public chats. It's called Minority Mindset. Okay. Here's the link. And the gentleman here, Jasprit Singh, is a genius when it comes to the financial things in the way we communicate these days. Now, his first video, that's actually one of his most recent, actually got now another recent video. Okay, so his videos range from about 11 to 13 minutes. And if you went over the last 10 videos, so this is a little less than 2 hours, you would be not only aware of exactly what the financial ramifications of what just happened with the 2 trillion stimulus and the oil and all that stuff, like just the specifics to what you need to know, but also how to position yourself properly in order to be able to benefit from what for sure is going to happen next, because this is not new. This situation that you're seeing happen in the market, there's already models of this happening, even if it was only for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months from different things happening in the past. And the same things always occur. And if you know what those things are, especially for, this is a candid conversation today, by the way, this is just bringing it all the way down to the basic level of how am I supporting myself? How am I converting this block of spiritual power, raw, unhindered force into something in 2020 that is going to allow me to stabilize myself and stabilize others? How am I going to stop being the fool in all of this? Hey, look over there. And the person's really over here. You know, you tap somebody's shoulder and they look over there and they're really over there. To stop letting that happen to you. And then also when you're sitting there, here's another thing. If you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't have any money. Do you really not have any money? You know how people, they say that, but that generally is not the case. I'll say this again. When people say, well, I don't have any money, that is a program that's been running on you. Because even right now, in every single one of these opportunities, there's always money being given away. This is another thing. If you go through all of these, in cryptocurrency, Tron was giving away money. They was airdropping all this crypto money. And it seemed like nothing at first. I think Tron was like 0.1 cents and then eventually hit something crazy. Everybody in India ate. Because, that's another thing. Like if you're in some place, right, and then everything is super expensive and you go someplace that's on the same, let's say the same level of living, but it's cheaper, that offsets the financial thing. So I'm just saying it's really wisdom. It's really knowledge that determines where you're actually at. You could say you have no money, but they're giving grants, they're giving this, and they got that, they got another thing, they got another service. You just need to spend the time and actually saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. And here's another $10,000 grant over $15,000 over here. I'm going to grab this. I'll put this over here. But what I'm also getting at here is that generally, it doesn't matter if you don't have any money. There's things that need to happen before you get money anyway. And if you're not doing those things, it just means you're unprepared when the money comes. Also, from a metaphysical level in manifestation, because we take a step and then the step appears, it means that you're literally saying that you don't really want to get there because you're not really prepping up for things to actually be there. And thus you're missing the opportunity. So when you surround yourself by beings and vibrations and frequencies, of course, of where you want to be, that's where you go. Right now, looking at a Rob Report magazine or Monaco or Versailles on YouTube is not going to actually equal wealth because that's not even realistic. Being around rich people don't want people that don't have money around them. So that's not being realistic. What is realistic, though, is channels like the Minority Mindset, channels that actually allow you to see this is how this works, really. If you have a driver's license and you have a bank account, then you actually can own any stock in the world by a simple E-Trade or these kind of different accounts. But if there's that thing that's in the back and saying, why are you feeding more into? Why are you giving more into? Trust me, it's going to be that same thing a year later. That's like, we need to go get money from them. We're getting our check from them. So you're going to them anyway. So why don't you make this the last time then? If you have such a big problem with how the reality functions financially, which I do personally, I still know, well, you need to go and get your own bank then. Any divine feminine and divine masculine force is going to eventually snap into that level of consciousness. Like you're complaining about these surrogate parents feeding your children, get your own crops planted then. This may not happen tonight. You may not be able to cut yourself off from Bank of America tonight. But if you make some plans here and you realize what's happening around you, this is quantum growth that's happening. Like even right now, and I'll say this and I'm done. When they use the term quantitative easing, Singh's going to mention that so you understand what it means. This guy is already a financier and he's also a lawyer and he had to go look it up. So this means they always throw out terms really fast. Oh yeah, quantitative easing, and then blah, 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 blah. And they act like everybody's like, oh yeah, I know what that is, because everybody's got this huge ego and they don't want to say that they don't know what that means. When they say quantitative easing towards key investors, what that means is that we now are quantitative means infinitely going to give the money necessary to bail out any of our investors if they start taking a loss on anything that they invest in the corporations and the financial decisions that are being made. It's never been done. We know that, quote unquote, that they print money. Not everybody knows that, though. And that money is backed on the petrodollar and many other things. But we know they print money, but they don't really come across like they do that. in the past. Like, oh no, we don't print money. Everything's got a check and balance system. We know exactly how much we're printing. We print this amount. That's how they want everybody else to believe in the past. Now they don't want you to believe that anymore. They're even so cocky. They're like, we just passed a bill that literally says we can print as much money as we want to bail out our friends. That's what quantitative easing actually is. And then people talk about that phenomenon of all the CEOs quitting, right? Everybody knows that all the CEOs of major corporations quit within the span of a week. But that's all that people are seeing. They're like, oh yeah, it was a coronavirus. It's going to just devastate everything. Look, it's a big conspiracy. And then so they're all up in that area, but they don't realize that all those CEOs also had sold all their stocks to the companies that they were CEOs of right before they left. When a CEO leaves, the stock drops anyway because people are unsure. Investors are unsure about what is going to be the new direction of the company. So then when the stock started dropping and then the corona thing hit, at that point, the stocks hit the floor. Then those same people, those same CEOs that sold their money, sold their stocks for profits, then bought back the stocks off the floor. That's wealth transfer. That's how wealth transfer takes place. And wealth transfer can only happen as big as the pipeline also. If you can't transfer $400,000 in one moment or $400 million in one moment because there's not even a technological system that can handle that, you cannot really move that much money. But now, since cryptocurrency, they're also using that outlet. Now they're using the bank's outlet. Now they have the World Trade or the Federal Trade Commissions and all these different things, all vertically aligned. And even from a level of ACH and transferring money, they're able to literally move millions of dollars from one area right into another. Let that $1 million become $400 million and move it out of there and move it over somewhere else. That was never able to be done. That's wealth transfer. Now, remember, most of this started from a guy in his garage with no money, just with a certain level of awareness of being able to watch trends. Then in watching trends, figuring out how to not get so emotionally attached inside of a trend, which blinds you. This is like when a crazy situation is happening and then you just go into hysteria. So you actually literally stop doing anything that will prevent that situation from occurring anymore. You're already hysterical. So they desensitize that aspect of themselves of going crazy. Oh my God, I'm losing all the money. Like, remember when the dot-com bust happened, there was a lot of those same people like, okay, we're losing all the money. We need to switch over. The ones that were most calm, they switched over into certain things.